Welcome back to another Insider session. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Nicole Zima, owner of Nexian Sail Away Group Travel. Nicole recently sailed Scenic Eclipse, Scenic's ultra luxury discovery yacht. And today, we're going to talk about what makes this experience so different from traditional cruising. Nicole, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your agency.
Well, I live in Orlando, Florida, and I started my agency in 2012, so I've been in it for a while. Living in Orlando, Florida, I focused initially on Disney travel, but then I was lucky enough to experience some luxury cruises and decided to move into the luxury cruise business.
Excellent. So before we jump into your personal experience, let's set the stage a little for anyone who may not be familiar with Scenic Eclipse. Scenic Eclipse is truly designed to be more than a cruise ship. It's an ultra luxury discovery yacht experience with intimate guest count, all-inclusive luxury, world-class dining, immersive excursions, butler service, and access to destinations larger ships simply can't reach. It really changes the way people experience travel. I'm excited to hear what stood out most to you. So, first impressions. What was your first impression when stepping on board Scenic Eclipse?
I actually had a wow moment before even stepping on board when we were at the port and I got to see her for the first time. I was in awe, and she's just sleek and elegant and just beautiful. So I was excited to get that first step on board, and I was greeted with smiles, an amazing crew that took us into the lounge area, which was very open and welcoming. And they sat us down, explained what to expect for the check-in process, and gave us a glass of champagne, which I will always take. And check-in was very smooth. We got to our cabin. Everything was, I love the ambiance of the ship. It was elegant, intimate. I was so excited to get the vacation started.
It is a floating boutique luxury hotel. So, what about a meaningful travel moment? Was there one ashore where you stopped and thought, this is why people travel?
That is a good question. And there were quite a few of them on this trip. But I think the one that really stands out for me was when we were in Portofino and we were hiking to Castle Brown. And on the way up, I turned to see the charming little village below, and I was blown away. Stopped dead in my tracks and thought, wow, look at this. It was so colorful. There were people, it was active and just charming. And I couldn't wait to get back down into town and experience the food, the shopping. But I absorbed that moment for a while because it was truly amazing, and we could see the eclipse in the water because we had to be tendered in, but wonderful photos, wonderful memories.
I love that. So the ship was tendered, so it was anchored, so you tendered to the town, and the included excursion was a hiking tour.
Yes, one of them was a hiking tour up to Castle Brown. So we had magnificent views. You could stop and enjoy a drink or some food up with those views. And then we hiked down and enjoyed the town.
That's excellent. So it sounds like there are some different levels of experiences too, from activity level to experience on each of these stops. Is that correct?
That is so correct. Yes, if you're not in the mood for hiking, you don't have to. Go and enjoy some pasta and some wine.
Speaking of pasta, let's talk about your dining experience. So, was there a dining venue or culinary experience on board that exceeded your expectations?
Gosh, so many of them. There are 10 or so different ways to eat on Scenic Eclipse, but one that really sticks out for me was one of the specialty restaurants called Lumiere. So it's French. And it was from the moment we stepped in and saw the maitre d', we were taken to the bar where we were given caviar and champagne before we were even taken to our seats. So definitely a high-end experience. We sat down. The service was amazing. They explained the menu to us. Everything was brought at the right pace. We never felt rushed. Everything was cooked to the right temperature. We started with a Parmesan custard that blew me away. It was so delicious, a wonderful way to start. We continued with steak tartare. We had green apple sorbet to cleanse the palate. You could choose between a filet or sea bass. And I chose the dessert of fried camembert with a fig marmalade. And the portions were perfect because I left fully satisfied and yet not too full where I couldn't go dancing. So it was such a memorable moment. We had a great seat. We were sailing. We were right by the window. The whole experience was amazing.
It does sound incredible. I hope you have some pictures that you'll be able to share of those incredible dishes that you
Of
talked
every
about.
course, for sure.
So Scenic Eclipse is ultra luxury, fully inclusive. So how did that truly all-inclusive luxury aspect change the overall feel of the cruise?
It just makes everything seem effortless. We didn't have to worry about a thing. And I like that. I plan people's vacations. So I like someone taking care of me every now and then. Everything was taken care of with a smaller, intimate, all-inclusive experience. The crew learns your preferences. They learn what you like, when you like it. There's just few decisions to be made. There's no charges. I think it's a psychological thing too, that you can enjoy anything you want and not worry how much is my bill adding up every day. I left the ship and had no bill, and I enjoyed everything I could possibly imagine.
I don't know if you've heard this, but we call it the walletless experience.
That defines it exactly. We didn't need a thing. Everything was covered and thought through for us.
So let's talk about the client. So what is the ideal client, and what came to mind while sailing this itinerary?
Well, personally, I think everyone needs to experience it because it was so unique. Like you said earlier, docking in these locations that the large ships cannot get to. Easy on, easy off. That was so fantastic. But for me personally, I focus heavily on groups. So I do a lot of wine themed luxury cruises. It might be a river cruise, yacht cruise. So I did think of some of my vineyard owners that can sell out a yacht of 100 to 228 passengers. I thought of them immediately, sent them pictures, said, I think this is one of our options. We do a lot of river cruises with the vineyard owners. But I like the idea of having this other option to bring them into the oceans and visiting other cities. So they came to mind first, and I've already been in touch with them. And then I just thought of my families or smaller groups I might have that would want to travel in such a unique way. And I came home and I booked a group of 8 people to sail on Emerald in September. So they're super excited to have that yacht feeling with their family.
Oh, I love that. That is amazing to be able to experience it and then have that confidence to come back and sell, and not even just sell the Eclipse, but you sold our Emerald Yacht product too, which was absolutely amazing. We've had some really great insider sessions on them too. So if you'd like, go back and hear some of those stories from Emerald Kaya or Emerald Azura. So thank you so much. This was an incredible conversation, and you're sharing your experience and insights today. I think conversations like this is what helps advisors and travelers understand what sets Scenic Eclipse apart in the luxury travel space. If you'd like to connect with Nicole Zima from Nexian Sail Away Group Travel to learn more about her experiences or future group opportunities, be sure to reach out to her directly. And as always, thank you for tuning into another insider session. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Garrett.